श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय. Later, Jaishankar Sen's son, Sharad, asked this body, "What did you see during the Kirtan? How did you get into that state?" This body was still in supernormal condition. Tears ran down her cheeks continuously, and no amount of wiping could help. She replied, "At the beginning of the Kirtan that night, when they sang, 'Come, O Gour, Nitai,' I saw Gour and Nitai as two young boys in the midst of the singers. When asked from where they had appeared, this body answered, 'From here,' pointing to herself. There was no inclination to say much more to Sharad at that point of time, as even then the outward expression of the inner mood was present in her demeanor. When Krishna Leela was being narrated in the form of a song, this body kept running to and fro like a small child. Sitting outside, as her hands and feet began to get cold, a strange feeling came over her, and she felt she was present at the place of the Kirtan, inseparably united with everyone else in a very profound bhav. The khayal to explain the nature of this divine mood is not coming forth, and indeed, where are the words to express such a state? The second time, when the Kirtan started, this body's sense of identification with the outside world returned, and there was a feeling of being one with the people gathered there, and yet at the same time distinct from them. At first, there was no urge from within to veil myself, despite the presence of other people, for there was no feeling of separation. Gradually, however, I veiled and covered myself properly. For the next 3 or 4 days, the unsteady feeling of being in an intoxicated stupor remained with me. Even while speaking, my immensely joyful state could not be concealed. Another day, there was Kirtan at Mami Ma's aunt's home. Bholanath had secretly instructed a woman to keep an eye on this body. As usual, this body was sitting in the room at a considerable distance from the place of Kirtan, when all of a sudden she experienced the sensation of an electric current arising from within that moved her body naturally into a yogic posture. As long as the Kirtan went on, this body remained motionless in that posture. Later, someone shook her, but even that had no effect in rousing her. After a time, she got up very slowly, still benumbed but exuding joy. Soon after, this body went to a neighbor's home to listen to Gagan Sadhu's Kirtan. And when she began to feel the divine intoxication coming over her, she somehow managed to return home hastily. Earlier too, she had noticed that during the time of Kirtan at the Tulsi plant, the moment Nam Kirtan reached her ears, her body would be swept on a wave of intense joy, despite her efforts to keep it under control. The local people of Ashtgram were enthusiastic about Kirtan. When the neighbors spoke mockingly amongst themselves about seeing her divinely entranced, this body felt amused. It was indeed nothing but a play. They neither knew nor understood, and therefore gossiped about her. When the above mentioned states of mystical absorption started to manifest themselves during Kirtan, word was sent to Vidyakut that this body was suffering from hysteria. Her parents found out the medicines for this and sent the information, but Bholanath wrote back saying there is no hysteria, she is well. श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय.